Hi everyone, so in today's video I'm going to be doing a video on why I think straight men don't want to date trans girls, like in depth of like just the nitty-gritty. I've touched upon it, types of straight men dating trans girls. It's more for clickbait, like you're still straight if you date a transgender woman. It is what it is, like, yeah, and it like offends me that I even have to like say that and like title it, but it's the type of world we live in and that would garner the audience. So without further ado, let's get started. Types of straight men like that don't necessarily date trans girls, because not all of them, but we do fall under the category of being taboo, of being abnormal. Like that's basically the reason, the gist of everything of why we're not girlfriend material, as like as sucky as that sounds. We're just not in today's society. We are locked behind closed doors because 9 times out of 10 we are fetishized, romanticized and objectified. Like women tend to get it bad from men. That's why like the whole saying of like boys are the worst, men, I hate boys and all that, like the feminist aspect coming into it. But trans women get it in tenfold because we are taboo, unfortunately, and it's 2021. So I think a majority of it sparks from their mindset of them growing up, of them being conditioned heteronormative toxic masculinity, and toxic masculinity affects almost everything. It like controls the way they think, the way they talk, the way they speak. They can't think for themselves. They are conditioned not to be free. They are subjected to be a sheep, to quote unquote fit in, and they're never ever going to really fit into anything because it's not them. 9 times out of 10 it's not them. They're just performing in a sense, and sometimes they're performing all their life, really like limiting themselves, and really just that, like it's quite upsetting to know that some people can't truly authentically be themselves, wear their heart on their sleeves, wear this and that. Like it just goes into everything from their clothes, the way their personality has become, because some straight guys, stereotypical straight guys, can't even be themselves with their friends. They're always putting on an act. Not all of them, most of them that I've come across. And you find that they treat you, even regular cisgender women, they treat you differently when you're alone as opposed to when they're with their friends, because it is a universal thing of being affected by toxic masculinity. But transgender women get it even more so because we are just that. Like we are so like a no, and like like I don't know how to put it into words other than they just see us as like this object where it's so enticing, so alluring, but it's so wrong. Like it's so against their societal norms, what they've been fed, and like yeah, it's just so taboo, and they will never ever own up to it. The ones that deny themselves and the ones that tend to love it the most and would be better off just dating a transgender woman openly. And to think that so many lives have been affected, of like they could have possibly had some of the best moments of their life with that transgender woman. They could have learned so much, had a like wonderful love story, and died so happily, but because it's against normal things, the normal convention of things, they've suppressed themselves to fit in and be a sheep. So it boggles my mind. I think a lot of it roots from the stigma in society and their upbringing, family. They don't want to have that awkward conversation of, so you're gay, because some old-fashioned parents will have that backwards mindset of it's still a man, and they'll be judged, they'll ridicule their child. Like, it's a lot, and it's a lot of trauma to go through, and upset and heartache and shame, even though it's nothing to be ashamed of. You like a woman. I'm specifically talking about transgender girls, but this can apply to any transgender person, anyone different, anyone a part of the LGBT, but this is my experiences. So family is a huge one, and because some people are really close to their family, they don't want to let their family down, even though it's not letting them down. They're not hurting anyone, they're not hurting themselves, they're being happy, but they just don't want to cause unnecessary upset, which is ridiculous. Their family, if they really love them, in my opinion, should be happy for them, because they're being 9 times out of 10 a better human being, because trans people have been through shit. So most trans people, most, not all, tend to be nice and will better that person inadvertently. And yeah, so their parents should see that it's good for them because of the adversity of the trans person that they've went through. So it'll make them a strong mutual couple. Yeah, they'll pick each other up. And the most prominent thing, I've already talked about this with the straight friends and lads. So straight male companions, friends, even some girls will judge to the max. Like, it's even, I think the trauma and the feelings of hurting them directly will be mostly affected by family for the majority, but friends can play an equal part. They could disown you. Even your family could disown you for doing that, but friends could disown you, ridicule you, mock you, post it on the web, like a lot. They could go in, and not everyone is ready for that or can take that. Cyberbullying is a massive thing. Like, to even mention the ridicule in person, because that can be equally as damaging and crippling. So there's that. It's just a lot, and it's upsetting for the trans person, because they see and they hear that this person, specifically a male, wants them, desires them, lusts after them, thinks they're a great person. But I personally, this is what they say, I can't do it, but I think you're great, I think you're hot, you're amazing, we would be good together, but I just can't. And they always go back to like their friends or their family. That's what it always boils down to. It's upsetting, it's a mindfuck, and you need to get out of that situation. Fair enough if it's like a low-key thing and it grows progressively and they make empty promises, empty this, empty that. You need to put yourself first and get out of that. I've learned through the hard way. It's like empty promises after empty promises. You need to know your self-worth. You need to know that you are too good for this situation of this unnecessary hurt. And they'll realise, you'll always leave an imprint in them, whether it's subconscious or they think about you years down the line. You will always have left a mark on them, and they'll always know that they had it so good until like they let you go. They'll always remember that. And yeah, you need to get out of that toxic situation and put yourself first, your mental health first. So in a nutshell, family, friends, society. That just being like society being the overall umbrella term, and friends and family being the nitty-gritty. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I just thought of making one about this, and thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, comment, like. Bye.